Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Two Brothers Podcast with your boy DM and Kire. We have topics to talk about today and some announcements and a few other things. But first and foremost, I am glad that I get to spend New Year's Day, as it is the first, with my good boy Kire in the Two Brothers Podcast. However, I'm glad I didn't have to drive.
Yeah, it's great.
People
we get
that
straight
drive in
into
Alaska are
it's terrible.
Terrible.
It's terrible. You mean people are absolute lunatics up here when it comes to actually being able to drive. Like, I don't know about you, but I have like the Blizz X on. I'm going through it, and I'm still going barely 60 on the highway. Yep. And then people are like flying by me. It blows
with
my
trailers.
Mind. With trailers,
I mean, just like 80 miles an hour in the snow, headlights off in a blizzard, reading a magazine. Like I just all at the same time.
Yeah, like driving with their knees. Texting on the phone, doing like the whole doing the whole thing. Yeah, and so it's just ridiculous to me that they're doing this. But I did see on the highway the other day, I saw a car literally flipped over. Literally flipped over, yeah.
Remember when I called you, I was saying I was actually in town. Last podcast we recorded. On the way back home from that, there was a car flipped over in the ditch and the ambulance had just gotten there. There was a fire truck, an ambulance, and 2 cop cars. Crazy. And it was people were blowing past that like 20 miles an hour over the speed limit, like, stupid accidents. I'm trying to get home. It's like,
yeah. It's just like, not the way I do it. That happened to them. That guy's a fucking idiot. The way I drive, no, I'm built different. I ain't ever doing that. It's just
they can dumb. Like hit a patch of ice and be like, oh, and then be like, oh no, I'm good, everything's fine. And they're just keep going.
I think they actually drive like that, where they always have like these random moments, and then they would be like, oh, black eye, I didn't see it. When instead it's like, no, you should anticipate it and not be doing that, and then you won't be that guy flipped over. It's fucking ridiculous. So just one thing I wanted to bitch about. I'm curious on if people do drive like that, or if I'm just crazy. I don't know. I don't get it.
I think it's an everywhere thing, if I had to guess. But in Alaska, you're used to bad roads so often that you're like, it's a false sense of security. It's like, I'm so used to it. I'm almost dying all the time. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You mean what's the difference? Is it's weird. Whereas like in the summer, it's just like there's no fear. It's great.
That's one of my New Year's resolutions, is to stay alive another year.
I think that's a really good choice. Yeah. So. Hell yeah.
Speaking of New Year's resolutions, do you have any? It is 2024 now. Day one. Now is the day you get to make your resolution.
I think that's a good idea to talk about. So the big thing for me is going to be doing less. That's been my big thing recently in the past couple of weeks. That. And doing less, and paired with doing things like not multitasking. I'm over like trying to force multitasking. I want to be present in the choices that I make, and then while also doing less.
I like that.
So what is yours? What do you got on the 2024 docket?
New resolution? Oh, man. To be honest, I hadn't thought about it until just the second you asked me. I didn't even think about like, I asked you yours. Now I have to have mine. I didn't even think. It's probably would have something to do with spending time with family. Speaking of doing less, I'm saying I like that one because I feel like I'm doing a lot of like, live streaming all the time, making videos, working a lot. And, I kind of miss hanging out with the family a little bit. So I'll probably try to, in 2024, go into that. But if I'm doing like one that I've been saying forever, which is that I want this to be my last year in Alaska. My resolution is to be done with this place.
Okay. You're trying to get the fuck out. I see. Okay.
Trying to get out, experience. I think experience more, Instead, I think that I have a very narrow path where it's like I've experienced a lot of things in my fields of interest, but not a lot outside of it.
You're
so
like
probably, expand.
If you had the circle on like things, you're just like a big point, but like it's like kind of low on these points, and you want to kind of extend those out. Because like I'm trying to do that, like adding in daily routines to be able to like be a more balanced person. And because like I'm a big all in, I'm all in or I'm all out, and I want to kind of stop doing that. And I think one of the things that I've identified is that I'm doing too much and then I do nothing. And it's like this kind of like all-in approach is not sustainable. And so that's kind of why
you get burned out when you go all in on something. And then you're like, well, I'm kind of done with that. And then you go all in on something else.
Yeah. I want like a system that's like, okay, I don't need to be, like that. You know what I mean? And so it's like
the correct amount.
Yeah.
The correct things.
Because like in a lot of these videos talking about like what, like they'll give like this advice, but it's like, they're giving advice, but they're not telling like what led them to that decision. Like, why is that better? Like,
True.
I have this like 45-minute daily routine. Like, what are they improving here? They're just jerking themselves off with this stupid ass morning routine. But like, what do you gain? What do you gain from that? And so like, my thing is like, I feel like I get burnt out too often. I think I've pushed it to what I think I can handle and what I can't handle. I'm like learning the limits of what I can't handle. And then I want to dial it back. That's why I want to do less, because when I want to be able to like consistently keep up a level of output that I haven't determined that is less than what I currently, because I've already proven that I can't do what I'm trying to do. That is why. And so it's like having the full,
what matters.
Yeah. And so
what are you the most proud of from the last year?
I would say consistently sticking with, I would say consistently sticking with the YouTube channel, constantly trying to just improve at that, in whatever way. There's like multiple ways to improve. I've always considered it like a wheel, where it's like, okay, one day you're learning YouTube, or you're learning getting better at Photoshop, and then you're learning how to talk better, then you're learning how to edit better, then you're back to thumbnail. So it's like, I just like that. I enjoy the process of getting better at this craft, I guess, and staying consistent with it.
Oh, the podcast, the viewers, the people seem to be. We're getting a couple people that are watching these things. Yeah. I mean, I noticed that they're starting to come by. Thank you, viewers. Hope you guys have been enjoying these podcasts, because these are actually been pretty fun to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool to see the reception. I wish that the video that actually got views wasn't the one with shit audio, but
yeah,
I'll take it. I appreciate you guys watching and like actually wanting to just see a video with shit audio, but that won't be happening in the future. 2024, that's another resolution. Good audio, all of our videos.
100% of videos have audio.
They have audio, and it's good and doesn't sound like shit. So, okay, but what is the thing you're most proud of? You mean you had kind of like a sleepy, not too much happened, kind of a little uneventful.
Pretty chill year. I mean, it's gonna be. I think it's just gonna be it's gonna be probably the YouTube plaques. I mean, I've been wanting these, and that was a 5-year goal, was to get one of them, and I'm like 1,000 subs on the other channel off of 3 of them, so I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, it was a good year. There's a lot of things to be proud of, but I'm also kind of excited by getting renting a house, because I went from like renting kind of a crappy apartment to like renting a small cabin, which this place is super nice. It's nice enough for one dude, but you get 2 people, it's a little too small. So getting a house is going to be it's going to be a fun experience. It's the first time that I'll have a garage in the place I'm renting.
It's funny you bring that up. Like my coworker of mine, he just bought a house, and it's like he considers like making it in Alaska, like you have your own garage.
It's a bit. I really think it's a big one. I wouldn't know. I'm about to learn, but it's like I got my motorcycle sitting outside that I bought a couple years back, and the thing is sitting in snow for 9 months. Yeah. Like it's not a good. You can cover it all you want. It's not good.
Yeah, my version of a garage is auto start. That's how that's the closest I've ever. Well, I've had a carport in the past, but it's just like basically it's auto start, which I think is an absolute must in Alaska. If you don't have it, feels bad.
If a covering where you don't have to do the snow is like 50% of a garage, and then if you have an all-star and that, you have like 70% of a garage, and then the garage is just like
it's
the
like
step up, I guess.
It's like bullshit. Like I go to a friend's house, he has the house, he has the garage, and his car's just like full clean, no ice on it. And I'm just like, that's like a thing. You could do that. That's like a total possibility.
It's hyper unfair. That's like plugging in a controller on a first-person shooter game.
I know. No, I mean, dude. Okay, I know you meme about that. So playing the finals. Playing controller.
I was going to go into the
fight. But like, dude, it's so bad. The people have so many examples. Like, this is worse than Halo. Halo is like notorious.
There's a whole like Reddit post and like YouTube about it. I saw this. And I can
zoom in, and it snaps to the head. And so I don't play that sniper. I don't do that. I do, like. Probably the most skillful version of a controller player that, AK-47, but I'm not sitting there sniping and like auto snapping to heads and stuff like that. That's crazy. Even though I want it turned down too. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where PC and controller players are ever going to be happy with it. There's always going to be some
it's
contention.
either controllers going to get absolutely dumpstered because there's no aim assist, or controllers are just going to be aimbot lasering everyone in the head. I mean, it's always one or the other, it seems like.
Yeah, and now with like Zims and stuff like that, it just makes it unfun to like. What it makes me want to do is get a time machine and just never pick up a controller and only play with a mouse. So it's like I just
but then you're like me, and that's what I've done, and I still can't hit anything. So
well, I would hope to avoid that.
You would just be good. That's what you're saying.
I would just rather but also at the same time, you've never really focused on shooters as like a main game for you.
It's just more never of a casual thing. It's I sit there and swirl my glass of wine and shoot the shot now and then when I'm not dead.
Oh yeah. Okay, so, fuck. Okay. Oh, I wanted to call an audible here. Topic change that we didn't mention before this is I want to talk about TwitchCon. We haven't talked about TwitchCon. We had a really good October, in my opinion. I think October, because we had TwitchCon there. I had the Halo tournament. I went to the National Championship first 1 week, and then we did TwitchCon after. So that was like all of my flying. All of my flying in 2023 was in a 2-week period. And I thought TwitchCon was fantastic. What would you say your favorite moment of TwitchCon was?
I think it's got to be meeting the people. I mean, if I knew before I left that there would be 0 people that would come up to me to say hi, or other content creators like me, like we both got to meet the Ackman, for instance. If those experiences would not have happened, I wouldn't even go, because I'm sure as shit not going for the booths. Like
the booths
to go look at a lightsaber I can buy online. Like I'm probably not going for that reason. So I think it's 100% gotta be the people that are like come up to say hi or shake your hand or whatever. Like, I mean, you were there. Everyone was cool. Like everyone was dope. There was no L's. Everyone was a W. So
I think one of my favorite things was to be able to talk like full YouTube with other people that get it.
It's a great call out. Yeah.
And having that, like, I can't, it's always like, oh yeah, I mean, I kind of get into it. It's always like surface level bullshit, and people will be like, you should do that. You mean like the most annoying thing.
Have you thought about like taking your camera golfing? Like,
yeah, stuff like that. And so that's like the level of conversations I'm used to having. And then to be able to like talk analytics and like specifics and like strategies and stuff like that was like the coolest thing. Cause it's like, you can't find that. It's weird. Even though we're an online thing, you would be able to do it. Like having the group and like a circle to be able to do that, it's like a unique experience you can only get in person and at a convention that's like flagging all these people to come through. So yeah, I thought that was true. And also, I don't want to like Ackman was fucking awesome. Like meeting him was super dope. Gambling, and like I think the funnest night I had was like that first night where it was like me, you, and him all playing a shitty version of Texas Hold'em. It was like Texas Hold'em blackjack, and we did that until like 6 a.m. Like we were just completely like, my eyes were like, because I stayed up all night, flew in, and like I stayed up from like the flight, so I slept on the flight, woke up at like maybe I was up from like midnight all the way up until like over 24 hours. And drinking, doing all this stuff. My eyes were like fucking full on bloodshot. Luckily, came up big. I mean, it was straight up L or W.
Brad was on a row there, right?
No, that was the next day. That was the next day. Like I'm talking like, but like to your point though, like even more W's the next day in gambling. Like we were up like I want to say I was up like 7, something like that. It was just like every single possible thing. Like all the people were cool. It avoided all the trappings of Vegas by winning money. Like every possible thing could have happened, went well.
It was a good time, but I'll be honest, I left being like, I don't really need to go back to Vegas. That's how I felt. I thought I was like, this is a cool place. I like gambling. I could probably like gambling a little too much, to be honest. Go in there and play some cards. I could, there's he drags people in there for a reason.
Well, like
pretty fun, especially with friends. But then other than that, it's like, the coolest part of the trip, other than the meeting the people, was like getting to see like Mobile Gamer, like some OGs that we've known forever, the Raid crew, meeting Hades, all those guys, Veldshot in person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like literally everyone that we met there was dope. Not a single one where I was like, oh man, he's whack. So that was really cool to see, and they're all like normal, like people that you can actually have a good conversation with. So it was really cool to see, and then also like it. There's like another level of connection where it's like just you, because I've been talking to Veilshot for almost like 2 years now online, but seeing in person is just way different. So it was pretty sick. So overall, awesome. gambling wise, though, well, a couple things. I feel like for TwitchCon, it's like a part of it. A lot of the activities there became Vegas activities because you're in Vegas. But like, what would it have been if it wasn't Vegas? It would be kind of weird because like, there's no like, it created a hub everyone could kind of meet up at. Whereas like, I wouldn't want to spend all my time in TwitchCon. That would have been boring.
Yeah, the convention was the least exciting thing about the whole thing.
Cost me $1 billion.
I don't know. I think it'd be kind of a lot of the same. I get you minus the gambling, it would still be the same thing. Like you would go to parties at people's places. You would go out drinking and getting food and stuff. I mean, it seems like everyone was just kind of out and about the town. Whatever town you're in, you would be doing whatever the attractions are around there. I think it's really just an excuse to like be social more than anything. So I don't think the gambling is a good hub for that. But
I liked how where you can like. It made it to where I feel like if it's not there, well, maybe it was clicky. I don't know, but like it would be like really clicky, and you'd have to kind of like be in the know to like get to like see all the people, because like where would it would be not this like very publicly known place to meet people, besides the con itself.
Yeah, well, probably. I mean, I feel like I only really hung out with people I knew for the most part. There's a couple people I saw along the way that like I wasn't already familiar with, but for the most part, I was kind of already hanging out with people I knew or were friends with. So it'd probably be more the same. But yeah, to your point, like the Vegas made it easy because it's the strip and you can walk down and meet all the people and there's all the parties and everything. So TwitchCon was a good time. I'll probably continue to go every year. So that was the second annual, and I think I'll just go the 1 year. Though I got really sick from it, which was
you're got body, dude.
I got real sick, and on top of like it ruptured my ear when I got back from being ultra sick. Not good. So that was a bummer, and that took forever to heal and all that. Cool. And then I ended up missing the BlizzCon convention because of it, which sucked even more because I was supposed to like actually have a live stream and stuff there and a Q&A with the devs and all that. So, and a meet and greet. So I missed all of that. Yeah.
So, big W followed by an L. Unfortunate. Yeah.
Bummed out about that one.
To be honest, especially for you, that would have been fucking awesome to do. Because like I personally forgot about BlizzCon because I was like, absolutely do not want to fly again, let alone go to BlizzCon. So like, of course I would be saying the complete opposite if I had my own booth. I'd be like, dude, BlizzCon, like I have a booth, you'll be there, I'll be there, it'll be exciting. But without having that, I was like, more of TwitchCon, but even more niche. So
yeah, I'm mostly just bummed about missing the meet and greet because I was kind of excited to meet everybody. But the convention was, I could still watch it from at home. So.
And then, last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to TwitchCon though is the card game we played, that Star Wars card game. That
really should be good, right?
That should be coming out here soon. They said it was going to be like January, I believe, of 2024. Was it
January? I thought it was March.
Well, hopefully.
Either way.
I hope I'm, it's close.
I hope you're right too.
Either way, it's very close. So speaking of anticipated things, I think this is going to be the time we could talk about the most anticipated games of 2024. Like what are you looking forward to for 2024?
Okay, so I think there's only one real answer here for me, if I'm being honest, and that's Path of Exile 2.
Okay.
I don't know what else there would be to be excited about. I don't know any MMOs that are coming out.
I looked. Blue Protocol would be an MMO that's coming out.
I actually don't think I care about that one.
Yeah, I think that's a fair. it's totally. Well, I just think I don't care about MMOs. Period. But that's one that people have been talking about. Because it's like I feel like that genre has kind of ran its course. It's just very hard for it to excite me personally.
Current iteration. I still do believe that someone could take the MMO genre and do something entirely new with it, and people would love it. But people are just rehashing the same, QWER, your abilities over and over and over again.
I think it's a combo of like, I don't know, it's such a big undertaking for a studio. Like maybe Riot's version of it does that. If anyone could do it, if Riot can't do it, then I just don't believe it could be done. I feel like it's a dead genre. But if they pull it off, then sure, it's like, okay, you're absolutely right. But 20 years of
I think the evolution of it will be good space MMOs. But the problem is because that's what everyone wants and knows will be the next good evolution of MMOs is really good space MMOs. And I know we got EVE, and I know we have Elite Dangerous, and there's going to be comments, but I agree. I've played all of them. Okay, I love space MMOs. It's my favorite. But because it's such a marketable sales pitch of come play space MMO, visit all the worlds, we keep getting these dog shit versions of space games.
Yeah,
because it's so easy of a sales pitch, but then no one can actually deliver on it. So what I want is Star Wars Galaxies, the old MMO style, done again with complete open world, player housing. You can walk literally, all around the planet and whatnot. And, everyone builds their own town, 60 plus classes. Like, that's what I want in the game, out of the game again. I don't know why they don't redo Galaxies.
I've heard of that game, and I know you've talked about it a lot. It sounds really cool. It's just hard for me to relate because I've never played it, But at the same time, that would be something I would want. If they can pull that off again,
So let me ask you this question then. Out of an MMO, would you enjoy an MMO that lets you be more of a person within the universe instead of the hero of the universe? Does that make sense?
I feel like that's kind of the thing with WoW, where it's like it takes 25 of you or 40 of you to finally do it, but there's other people in the universe that are way more powerful than you. Kind of like that power scaling. To us, I kind of like that more. I like, where you're not. I want the world to be, because the only way it would make sense if you're a character in the world, you can't be the main character because they're supposed to be everyone signing in. So yeah, I think that would be my answer. Or it's you're just kind of the world.
Yeah, Galaxies was a lot more like you're a guy who is a smither who is making weapons on this one planet. So basically you is, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's the guy who is, Corellia's blaster crafter. And that's just who you happen to be because that's what you focused on and that's where you set up and all that. And that's your entire personality. You're not a hero. You're just the guy who did it. And you could be a Jedi and all that too later on. But that's mostly what the game was. It'd be I'm the guy who runs the cantina. That's my character in the game. And then there's actually enough classes to fulfill that too. So I miss that in games where they gave you the tools to actually choose to create the environment in which people play in, basically. And now the environment's kind of created for you.
Yeah. Well, that's a cool idea. I like that idea of, it'd be kind of cool if they combined the world builder games, the survival builder games with basically your own custom NPC within the world. And then you can, it's okay, well, we're going to go to this town because this version of this guy is killing the game and he's doing such a good job. And stuff like that. And it'd be okay, we want to go to his version of that. And they make these kind of unique aspects of that. I don't know how you can make that fun for the person playing it and the times and all that stuff. But I think that's a cool idea.
It works only when you fully trust the players to create the content, basically. You have to give the tools to the players and fully trust them. But no, I think you're right. The MMO genre is basically more or less dead at this point, and the only way it could be revived, I think, is by space MMOs or a complete redesign of what the MMO is. I just don't think people want to log in and hit 1, 2, 3, 4, shift 1, 2, 3, 4, shift Q, shift W, and have a million different action bars, and then level their skills and have a skill tree. I just don't think people want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I think that's kind of done. And then also, people, it kind of needs to. Well, what I was gonna say first is that they've optimized the fun out of it. It's it reminds me of in Destiny was that way. Oh, you don't have Gjallarhorn, get the fuck out. Oh, you don't have Biss, get the fuck out. And so everyone has knows exactly what the best is, and they don't want to waste their time with anything beneath that. And I see that in multiple games. It's not just a WoW problem; it's just an everything problem. Now that games have been so hyper optimized, and it's not about the experience. About it's not about the journey. It's about getting the end. And I just think that's a bizarre way to play the game. But I wanted to talk about a couple, because I have a list here of some upcoming games, and let me know what you think. So first of all, the one that I'm excited about, I think you kind of got to see it in action to see where it's a 2D version of Prince of Persia that's coming out on January 18th. So that actually that game I want to play. For sure, that game looks really good.
2D platformers are good typically. I mean, there's still coming out with good ones. There's Ori and the Blind Forest is one of the more notable ones. Shovel Knight. I don't know if you played any of those, but those were good. 2D side. Okay, so that I like that one. That's a W so far. I'm 100% with you. What's the next one?
That we both played, the only builder game that I actually enjoyed is Enshrouded. That comes out on January 24th. So that's
that
coming
was
out.
fun. That was actually fun. Yeah, we did. We played the demo, right? And for whatever the demo one day, and that was actually fun. That's this January.
Yeah, January 24th. Okay.
Oh wow, that's cool. Okay, we're gonna actually have to do a stream on that one.
Yeah,
because I think that'll be a good time.
Yeah, so I think like a full day, we would just go ham on that would actually be really good.
One day, you know.
Yeah, that'd just because I think that's probably all I can stand of a builder game, but maybe
a day or two, and then you're kind of done with it. But yeah, it's fun to play when you're in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then throwing a little Mario in here, we got Mario versus Donkey Kong. I have no idea what the gameplay is going to be. I think it's like little puzzles. Maybe it's for kids. I don't know, but it's coming out in February. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out February 29th. That actually looks sick.
So I have a rule about Final Fantasy. I'm not playing any Final Fantasies until I play Final Fantasy VII for the first time, because I never played it. Everyone told me it's literally one of the most goated games of all time, and I'm an idiot for not playing it. So that and Final Fantasy 14 are like the only two I know. Well, in 11, I had 11 on the Xbox back in the day. But I got to play 7, and then I'm going to play the other ones, and I still want to play 14 because I heard 14 is pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Like, because 7 I only watched as a kid. Like, I was probably like 7 or 8, and I never owned a PlayStation 1, but in my apartment building, another family did. And so I would watch like the older brother play it a little bit. That's my extent to that. But then Final Fantasy X and 10-2, I would watch my cousin play. And then he would and it was kind of sick because like we would have it set up, because most of the time I would go to his place and we would play Halo like side by side, or we would play like Conker's Xbox version, like Live and Reloaded. Yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day, Live and Reloaded, goated him in multiplayer game with like roles and stuff, kind of like Team Fortress. I feel like that's a sleeper game. But we would play like those games side by side. And then when we would start to play like single player games, it would be like I was playing Metal Gear Solid 2, and then he would be playing like the JRPGs, and then anytime a cutscene would happen, I would like tune in and get the story, but then he would figure it out and like, oh, that's the boring shit that I would like 2x speed in a Let's Play, for example. But it was cool to be able to like have both side by side like that. And so that's my experience with them. So I never really played the games, but I would watch them.
You know what's an underrated game I played for the Dreamcast? It's a sleeper. Speaking of sleepers, was Toy Commander.
Toy Commander? Okay, I have no idea.
Okay, so Toy Commander was, think almost like Toy Story, like you could play as toys, but a little bit more adult theme. And then you could basically do battles and stuff in it too. So it was actually just, you might have to look up a YouTube video on this sometime. But Toy Commander was, anyone who knows Toy Commander, leave a comment, because
shout out,
that game was
the real one.
That was that one was that and Red Dog for the Dreamcast were two like randomly goated.
Dude, Rush 2049, dude. Rush 2049 was the goated game. Obviously, Sonic was sick. Soul Calibur 1. Yeah, there's a lot of good games on Dreamcast.
These are all good games. You're on fire right now. Okay, so I agree with all of these. Okay, maybe Final Fantasy, whatever.
Okay, so we got Black Myth Wukong. I've seen Asmon react to a lot of the footage there.
I don't know anything about this one.
Yeah, me neither, but that's all I know. We got Path of Exile 2 beta. So I looked into how to get into beta, and I think I'm secure because they were asking, can you pay your way in? And they were like, if you've done the top creator bundle, you're in.
480. Yeah, I've done it twice, baby.
Yeah,
I'm in twice.
I'm in. You know, like, come on, like we already know you're like super in, but I'm also in.
This is a great segue into a plug here, which is that on the 3rd, I'm assuming this podcast will be coming out on the 2nd, but on the 3rd on twitch.tv/Darth Microtransaction, my live stream, we will be having Jonathan Rogers on the podcast with me and Ghazi he's the co-founder of Path of Exile, to talk about Path of Exile 2. So I was going to ask you during this, do you have any questions you want me to ask him for Path of Exile 2? Or viewer at home, leave a comment of the question.
Yeah, definitely leave a comment. Yeah. I don't have any questions. I am not equipped to answer. Like, how's his day going?
Fair enough.
How's his day going? I hope he's doing well. That's my question. Yeah, Kire brings in the question.
And so here we have a Kire saying, "How is your
day?" Yeah, and so okay, and to close this section out, we have Arc 2. I know you're not the biggest fan of the Arc series, but you know, that's another survivor.
Wait, Arc like Survival Evolved?
Yeah, but the 2, I believe, according to my Google search before this, Arc 2 is coming out.
So not like a remastered for the 19th
because I believe there's two,
and
and it has Vin Diesel in it. Okay, so I remember because my coworker of mine is like a big friend / coworker is a big fan of Ark, and then there's the remastered version of Ark, and then there's actual Ark 2, and Vin Diesel is like in the game, and so
it's a very family oriented game.
Absolutely, a family friendly game. So the graphics looks insane. It's like I don't know if it's like Unreal Engine 5, but it looks fucking like next gen shit.
When does it come out?
Undisclosed 2024. You know,
that's not too soon, Junior.
Yeah. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm just
undisclosed always means the back half of.
Yes. Quarter really 4. Means. Yeah. And then lastly, a Blue Protocol. So those are going to be from my Google search before this. I didn't want to get too far into the year. Like I didn't really like that. I was kind of thinking more like first half because like I want to finish some games. Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I want to finish some games. Yeah, and I think Prince of Persia is going to be a good one. Enshrouded is going to be the complete opposite of that. I'm going to just declare my...
You're going to play till you get bored, and knowing you're going to get bored in about 15 minutes, and you're going to leave me
I'll just push it through.
House.
Yeah, I'll just
push through. Give me one solid day of
I'll give you,
gameplay.
Okay, if you do it on a Monday, I'll give you the entire day. Just the entire
we'll do it on Monday. We'll do a solid day of Enshrouded. Hopefully the launch is on Monday. I don't know when the 24th is.
Let me check the Cali.
Jamie, can you pull that?
Damn it. Wednesday is literally the worst fucking day, dude. I needed to change my schedule to have Wednesday, Thursday off. Then I would never miss...
Just get the 24th off.
I would just never... Oh, well, okay.
Well, that'll be fine because I think actually I think that's the day that Diablo 3 starts anyway for season 3.
Oh.
For Diablo 4 season 3 starts.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Uncharted, big competition, you know. So, Kappa Kipo. Okay, here, let's, New Year's most anticipated.
This is the part where you go through the list of all the talking points we have for the podcast.
Marvel's What If? We got Marvel's What... Do we have...
So, I've watched all of them.
I have not. What are your thoughts?
I'm just going to give you my hot take right out of the gate. I don't like them.
Mid? Is it mid or you don't like them? I like the first one. I like Nebula?
The first
you like
one.
Nebula? Okay.
I like Nebula. I like the setting. Okay, the story was where I liked the setting. It was like Blade Runner. Exactly. Jinx, detective style. Great. I liked that. It seemed like something my brother would probably like too. I like the.
I like the second one the most. I've seen 2.
Which one was that one?
That was the Star-Lord one. The Star-Lord one was fucking awesome.
To be honest, I kind of don't like any of them. And I'm going from What If being like arguably my favorite show at the time I was watching. Yeah, is maybe the one I liked the most. You know what it felt like? I was expecting like some kind of continuation or at least, similar style. But then it just felt like what season 2 is a handful of ones that got cut. Where it was just like, here's a random ones. And they just they're like the worst of the leftovers. Got thrown into season 2.
One of
what
them
it felt like
I heard was where it was like it did get cut season 1 and then they put it into season 2. I want to say it's like the Gamora Iron Man one. They literally, but because I felt like season 1 I thought they were going to be all anthology, like the whole thing. Nothing was going to come together. It was just going to be, here's a random idea, go, and we're never going to get a 2 or anything of that. But we actually got kind of like an end story. They all kind of tied together, and then it's like maybe that set the wrong idea going forward for What If. So you have a season of all anthology, then it's like, well, that's what it should have been. Not this where it's like they had all these characters and they brought them all together. So at the end for a team up, but I don't know. I've only seen 2 of them, so it's hard for me to say.
Yeah. The one I liked the most was the Hela one, probably, where she like loses her power. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Oh, okay.
But other than that, like I don't know, they seem mid to me. I didn't hate them. I don't got bad things to say. It went from like What If is pretty god tier for me to like I could not finish the season and be fine.
Have you been watching Reacher?
No, but I that one I want to watch because Reacher, the OG season is top tier. Plus that actor, I forget his name, Thad Casso from Blue Mountain State.
Thad Casso. That's his actual.
That's his actual name.
No.
Okay, you actually had me there. Get me on the hook and you let me go. You let me back in the water, there, fisherman.
No,
but no, he's like an amazing actor. Like I actually think he's super top tier actor. Like he can do total troll. He can do like the serious. I just think he's really.
It's crazy
really
how
good.
different the two roles are. But this season
Extremely.
so far has been really good. I'm 2 episodes in, and I've been liking it. But at the time of recording of this, there's like 6. So it's like I have all this because I have so much stuff to watch right now. So it's like all the What If, Jack Reacher, and Jujutsu Kaisen. I've been watching that anime. Dude, this anime is so fucking good, bro. It's so good. And that all 3, and I'm like watching it. I'm not like I haven't picked one yet, so it's like I'm watching like 2 episodes here, 1 episode here, half an episode here, and then so I'm like only.
I know what I'm doing on like the old goated animes right now because my girlfriend hasn't seen like Death Note, One Punch Man, Sword Art Online. Like I'm talking,
Okay. Yeah.
good ones.
Yeah. The first 2 I've seen. The other one I haven't. The
Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I haven't watched that.
Watch the first season. Don't watch the second season. But why the first season is legitimately like you will really like it. Do you know what it's about?
It's like a character and a thing, and he is like level 99 and shit. Like that.
Yeah, you have no idea. It's basically like the VR headset is MMO, so people can play MMOs as like themselves in the game, right? Like faux deep dive reality matrix level shit. But then the dude,
you die in real
and
life.
It's not really a spoiler. It's all in the first episode. The dude who made the game made it with like a twist where everyone who logs in they can't log out, and if they die in the game, they die in real life. So it's like an MMO, but actual. And the reason it's good is like the plot line's a little bit like cheesy standard, but
that's
the reason it's good.
That's how you revive the MMO genre, right here.
That's
we figured it out. They already figured it out.
That's hardcore. Is the reason it's so good is because all of the references and the way they do the menus and everything in the game and the way they're actually interact, it's all like, oh, that's actually makes sense. Like that's an MMO. Like the people who made the show obviously know MMO or played the games. Like it looks like a real. So it's worth watching because you don't feel like some guy who has no idea about gaming made this thing. It's like, oh no, these are actual gamers made this show.
Yeah, like, it's cool that like actual gamers are a thing because we're of the generation of like they would have like people with like controllers not plugged in, or they would like say shit. They would say like levels. It's kind of like talking to someone who's like, oh, how many hits did that video get? Did that the guy? Yeah, they're like this, and then they're like sitting there. They got the yeah, and so.
So we both know, and man, it's like a Pepsi commercial or something, dude. Yeah. And you know what's weird is how many times that they market to gamers like the stupid pizza rolls. I don't know how many different pizza roll commercials I've seen where it's like they'll have the dude with the guy like, oh, it's great, and then like reach over and like eat pizza rolls and be like, oh, I just leveled up, and then they're like, it's like, oh my fucking god, dude.
Yeah.
Like, please stop. I'm not buying your pizza, bro.
Yeah. So I wonder what like the demographic of like pizza rolls is, like how much of the percentage of people that eat pizza rolls are gamers? Because I bet it's fucking
probably
high.
pretty high.
I bet it's fucking high, dude.
It's like a statistical anomaly.
Yeah, it's just fucking shooting. Like, no, this is it. Like, this is our core audience is gamers. Like, we need to feed them.
It's 93% gamers.
They will go hungry if we don't advertise to these people.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
So,
you know what's another good show? Recommending shows.
Okay.
Have you seen Dude, Where's My Jet?
Literally never heard of it. Like, I don't even have an idea. I don't know who's in it. I've never heard the name.
Documentary. Okay, like, you should watch this. You would actually think it's hilarious. It's a documentary. It's real life with the real people. They actually bring them in to shoot and stuff. Where they tell the story about the guy who won a jet, a Harrier military jet from Pepsi or Coke or whatever. I think it was Pepsi.
Okay.
So what happened was, they did this, Pepsi did this ad, which is like basically the Boy Scouts catalog where like you would sell, 13 cookies, you get some points and you get like a plastic. They did the same thing with like get tabs of the Coke cans or whatever, and then turn them in and then you get prizes. And so the prizes would be like an action figure, Nintendo 64 console. And it's like, if you get 1 million points, you get a Harrier jet. And the thing was, it's supposed to be impossible, like a meme. Yeah. But a guy did it. He mathed it out, and he realized it would cost him like $600,000 or something to buy all the Coke cans, and then he would get a $2 million jet for $20 million, whatever.
Baby, to the moon.
Yeah, so he fucking did it. He went and found an investor, and the investor invested the money to get the Coke cans, and then they're lawyering him, like lawyering up, but they fucked up, and you have to watch it. It's like they fucked up and they didn't have a disclaimer.
That's why there's no fun in these things. Like, reminds me of just kind of like in the scams of like these prize things. They're like, hey, you can win a Toyota if you do this thing, and then what they gave her was a toy Yoda. And so it's like this one crazy. I want to watch that. It's super interesting sounding.
It's good, and it's funny because the guy, the type of person who would actually go for that's a little a little interesting anyway. So it's worth watching. It's a funny one. I highly recommend that.
What year is this like set in? Like when
It's like early 90s. It was back when the commercials were just really starting on TV, targeted towards gamers and that type of thing. And so it's kind of the same concept. That's what brought it, reminded me of it really. It's very much the, pizza, don't download the car, pizza roll type of commercial. Yeah. That was the Coke ad or Pepsi ad or whatever it may be.
That's fucking awesome. That's okay.
That's worth watching.
Okay. Well, I think that's the time of the podcast that we go off and leave the podcast to play Age of Empires 4. I think that is I think it's about that time.
Speaking of anticipated,
yes. Yeah. So,
but this has been good. It's cool to see people are actually starting to watch the podcast a little bit. We are planning to continue to do these weekly, either in person or online. And I
get the whole set now. The studio has been built. There's going to be more of these. There's going to be more of these in there. It's not going to be Funko Pops. It's going to be like actual.
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah. So it's a little better. And then it'll look nicer than a white wall, just a big old white wall. So it's slowly improving.
And in February, we'll have a second setup once I get the office. Yeah. It's not the living room where you can see my clothes stacked everywhere. We'll have a couple.
That's part of the aesthetic. We can pull it up. We'll just
Two Brothers podcast to the moon. In other words.
Yes. Yeah, we're trending up.
Subscribe now. You get your stonks now by
get them now. Yeah, they'll go to the moon. Yeah,
the value of that subscriber when this is the next 10 million subscriber podcast. You can say you're one of the first.
It's basically like buying Bitcoin at $5. Like that.
It's going back in time. Yes. And buying Apple stock when he was still in the garage.
Exactly. All
right.
You guys have a good one. It's been real. Have a safe, good New Year. Hopefully you guys don't have too much of a hangover. It's been a lot of fun. You guys have a good rest of your day. Peace.